This episode sticks out in my head so much. Like this.
Is it because you ship Pacifica and Dipper?
No. I don't ship children.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Pointless Discourse with myself, Hoppocalypse, and Itisdpayne.
I didn't bring up the list.
No,
of fun
I was
facts.
prepared this week. I was actually awake since we chatted about other stuff that used my brain power.
Yeah. Look, guys, we've been on the call for a little over an hour now. And yes, we have now planned out the rest of the year.
Look at us.
You don't have to be embarrassed about that.
Oh, I was yawning.
Oh, I
I don't
wasn't
want
sure
people
if
to see the inside of my mouth. Hold on, I'll yawn like this from now on. I actually am yawning. I'm still tired, but my brain is at least functioning a little bit more. I think I might need to make myself some tea after this.
We're in the middle.
I just leave.
Yep. You did that before, but that was because your internet cut out or something.
That was not my choice. I didn't get up and leave.
Yeah, your internet told you to. I don't know. But, so I set a limit for what I wanted to spend on the Steam sale, and I broke it. Not by much.
Okay.
But, yeah, it was like, I only wanted to spend 60. I think I spent 75.
That's not bad, all things considered.
Compared to other years, that's really good.
Yeah, the Steam sale, I remember when I first built my PC, I think I spent like $150 on the first Steam sale I encountered, because I was like, when will these ever be this cheap again? Turns out like every 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah, it was... So, let's see. I got the Strangers in Paradise, the Final Fantasy Origins thing, because I wanted to play that ever since it came out, but it took forever to get to Steam for whatever reason. But I really want to play Final Fantasy 16, but it's not coming to Steam or PC until December. But I was looking at the combat, and I'm like, this looks a lot like Devil May Cry, which would make sense because I think one of the main designers is part of the director team. And so I'm like, okay, I should play that series even though I said I'm not interested in it, so I can just get ready for Final Fantasy 16. So I now own all 5 Devil May Cries because the original trilogy bundle was like $10, and 4 and 5 were like $9. And I'm like, sweet.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I could probably wait because these things those games go on sale like all the time. And I'm like, I'll just get it. I'll be fine. But then I've been getting this huge like desire to play Hollow Knight again, and games like Hollow Knight, where I'm realizing I'm like, I just really like 2D action platformers. And that's when I bought a different game. It looked cool. It looks like a mix of Hollow Knight and like the new Castlevania games called After Image.
Okay.
And that one, I didn't really look at how cheap it was. It came out this year, but it was 20% off, and it was like under $20 or something like that. But I didn't look at the price. I just was like, alright, that doesn't put me over too much. Bye.
Sale tag? Yoink.
Yeah.
Total in cart? Good enough.
Yeah, close enough. So, I don't know. Probably play that soon, but I'm, I don't know. I'm like, I go in waves of like wanting to play Hollow Knight, and then I never actually do. And now I'm like, no, I'm gonna try to get the Radiant ending in Hollow Knight, which is like the really difficult thing.
Good luck.
Well, I still gotta finish my near challenge I gave myself of getting every ending. So, yeah, I got plenty of stuff to do.
You've booked all your gaming plans for the foreseeable future.
I like, I don't like having, at least with the Streamwise, like wondering what I'm doing.
That's fair.
Like I'm even thinking about like how I want to do like my tabletop stuff up in the upcoming year. Like I think I want to finish. Um, I want to finish whatever it's called, the Pathfinder game. Like that has only like one more chapter in it. The Call of Cthulhu one is like that one's fine. Like that one's going on its own. Call of Cthulhu is just nice because like I just have to. I know it's not how it's supposed to be intended, but I just come up with a scenario and then my GMing referee keeper style is very much yes and improv off of the players. Like I'll have the basic story written, but it's just like yeah, kind of making little tweaks here and there to tell what I think is a half decent story. So that one's fine, but I'm like I either want to do like rules lighter systems or systems that like in my head like make sense in reality, like Traveler.
Something more grounded.
Yeah, it's not so much like in the world. Like I'll play a fantasy game, but like I'm tired of like D&D and Pathfinder do this to different extents where it's like as something gets stuck in my eye. Here we go. Of like, okay, roll a d20. Okay, then add this bonus with your weapon bonus with this weird feat bonus that you get. And then all that combined together. Okay, you hit. Now let's roll this die and add this statistical bonus with the flank bonus and now this random thing. And I was like, that's too many numbers that my brain isn't able to handle. Like I like just flat, like boom boom, keep flowing. So I think there is something I set up pretty early in when I was testing my worlds and all that stuff, or like playing games with friends of just pretty much tower things that people can go challenge in the world. And I think it showed up like once in recorded stuff, but there's a system and I can't remember what it's called. It's like pretty much it's your average people trying to go into dungeons just to like scavenge the remains and like the forgotten of monsters because and the heroes fighting them because you literally can't stand a chance. And I'm like, that sounds a lot more interesting to me personally rather than like, oh my goodness, there's a monster over there. Okay, I'm gonna cast I wasn't gonna say the first spell name that came in my head, but the Ultra Blaster 84,000, and then boom, okay, we're good. I killed it. Oh no, I missed, and so I don't know. I'm starting to like systems where it's like, and it's in my own game, obvious, where it's like I don't like just pretty much let's just stand in bang and fight and like battle attrition, fight each other. I'm like I like the more narrative flowing styles of interactions and scenes. But then again, I value story over mechanics, so
Yeah, preferences. But I was gonna say, I think it's funny because you're like, all right, this morning we said we were gonna get down to business, and I didn't give you a chance to rant about stuff on your brain. So now all the podcast listeners get to listen to what I usually listen to before we start recording the episode.
yeah, it wasn't even on my brain. I don't even know why that came out. Whatever. It wasn't that long. It was shorter than normal. Here, you know what? Characters die, and you know what? Fact 30, Stan is always killed. That's what it literally says.
That's really all it says.
Well, they got the little blurb underneath it. Every wax sculpture, puppet, and photo of Stan has been destroyed in some way, mostly by fire and melting. An article fandom.com states that this could have been a foreshadowing for the final episode, where, well, that is a spoiler, but hey, what do you think? That is the last line they say. We'll get there. We're almost there.
We're almost there. We're episode 30, which is the one that you said last week you really liked. It's like every other week we're like, oh, that's a good episode.
Yeah, but like this episode sticks out in my head so much. Like this.
Is it because you ship Pacifica and Dipper?
No. I don't ship children.
No, Dipper's a teenager. He's 12.
They're all childs. No, it's like this episode is like, it definitely feels like you got the extra animation budget. There's like so much going on where I'm like, it kind of made me forget it's a Disney production. Mm-hmm. And I think it shows like the character growth that's like kind of been happening behind the scenes, like especially with Dipper, mainly Dipper's character, because he's always like, we'll get into it, but it's just like the whole reason he's called in here is because of just of what he's been doing. And before it's always like, hey, keep it on the down low, but it's like people are starting to know.
Yeah, he has an article written about him.
Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, no, this one, like, it's not that, like, there's some episodes like, okay, that's felt like they were pushing the budget or not budget, but the limits a little far. Like in this one, it felt like it was pushing the limits, but they were like to a point that they were allowed to. Like I think this episode I think is like not a good foreshadowing, but a good like prepare your butts for the second half of this season, because like this one is pretty intense, but it's still like
funny.
Yeah, it's
in my head I was like, season 2 really ramps up. Season 1 is like super friendly and super like easygoing, and this first half of season 2 I'm like, it's still easygoing. I remember being tense in this season, so now we're kind of,
I think we're starting to get to the tense thing, because I think in the next episode is when a certain person shows up. Yeah, because
I mean, the end of this episode kind of gives a timeline.
Yeah. Yep, no, so, like, it's... Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff, like, where, yeah, like, I'm, like, clicking through the whole thing. So there's still, like, the goofy episodes that are there, but it's, like, this is when it feels like, especially the second half, like, everything is like pretty much connected, except for like maybe a handful of episodes would still have a plot connection, but it's
oh yeah, the one episode where they go to all the different road trip stuff, that one's a bit lighthearted.
Yeah, but then it's like after that one is like, if I remember, it's just like boom, and then we get into, well, you know, I just saw the name for one of the episodes and I'm like, how the heck am I supposed to pronounce that? So, go back to the episode we're on. But now we're starting to build up all that jazz. But no, It's fun. I don't know why Steam is open. Go away.
Because you were looking at that sale. You were confirming the
No.
goods.
I'm done looking.
Yeah, but
I bought all I wanted.
You just needed to confirm that they officially were in your library, right?
I don't even think I looked. Just like
You just click the buttons and gave them the money.
I think Steam updated or something where now it just opens at the start of my computer, which I'm like, I don't want it to. I'll open you when I need you. I don't want you opening as my PC.
I've turned that
on.
off a while ago. Maybe you need to check your actual PC settings.
Yeah. So
I don't like anything opening as soon as I start my PC. Not even like Discord or anything.
yeah, that's why Discord I don't mind because I use Discord like AIM. So yeah. Discord I don't mind opening up because I know I'm just gonna have it open and sit on one of my other monitors, but no, that's why I got rid of the Epic Game Store, because it would just constantly keep opening. As I'm like sitting here, I'm like, did I get rid of it or did I click a setting? Oh no, I still have it. Okay. No, okay. Apparently I'm a liar. But any poops.
You ready to roll some dice?
I can't think of anything else fun to rant about since you called me out. Hey, yep, I rolled my die.
Okay, so this is for rolling to see who gets to talk about the episode. As S2e10 talked about earlier, we do like RPGs, and a lot of them use 20-sided dice, and in this case I'm using a digital one. You rolled your physical one?
I rolled an 8. Yep. I figured you were gonna go because I said this is one of my favorites.
Is that how it goes? I thought it's usually when we say that we have like a sore throat or a bit of a cough, then the dice say that it's our turn to talk for the for the whole episode.
Maybe that too. Do you have a sore throat?
No, but I've been yawning a lot, so this doesn't bode well.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so every 5 words, if you hear a pause, it's not because I'm thinking.
Because she is fighting her inner sleep demons as they bring on Christmas spirit.
See, that's a nice little hint to what we were planning out today.
I'll say it. I don't care. No, I won't. I do. I guess I care slightly.
Just a little bit. Just enough.
We
but
plan Christmas.
Not just Christmas.
No, we just... Yeah, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Halloween.
All in one shot. We planned
As we
it all
said,
in an hour.
the rest of the year. Yeah, it's... I was about to say, it's like, that was one of our fastest planning things, and I remembered, we were talking about this in January.
Yes.
So, it's been
on our
7
minds.
months. 7 months of planning now finished. Now we have to do other stuff.
Do the other half of the planning. The part of the planning that's a lot harder than just making notes of what we're looking into.
Yeah.
All right.
In short, guests.
Maybe.
2. That's spoilers.
If they are available at all.
They're going to be available. I'm going to show up at their place like, yo, get on the podcast. I don't know how I found myself here, but I'm here.
And that's when the Patreon goes up. Help fund S2e10 to cross... Oh, you'd have to cross a border.
I would. Help S2e10 bail money.
Okay, so this episode, we open up at the Northwest Manor in the middle of a thunderstorm. And we're looking through, and we see that the mother of the Northwest family is saying that she's excited that the guest list for this year's party has so much diversity, to which... she's Priscilla, and then Preston, he's like, yes, we have a nice mix of millionaires and billionaires. And then he starts to yell at his servant for putting the oyster fork wrong. And Priscilla walks in.
We're not animals, man.
Pacifica walks in, and Priscilla starts to yell at her, saying that she has the wrong color dress on. Apparently, Pacifica is wearing a lake foam green dress when it's supposed to be sea foam green, and tells her to change, which
I'm
confuses me later.
I'm gonna look up these colors. I want to see.
I don't know if they're real colors.
I will find out.
While you look it up, Pacifica tries to defend herself, saying that she likes the color, and her father Preston tells her to mind her mother. And when Pacifica tries to speak up, Preston rings a bell, to which Pacifica immediately says, "Yes, father." And then everything starts to go haywire, and it's almost as if there's an earthquake happening. I just heard a loud noise outside my house. I'm going to ignore that. And
It's the same color. One is just slightly darker.
like a shade darker, if that.
Oh, well, I can't tell if it's like shadows on the thing, but it's like maybe it's a couple shades darker, but it's still like
It's both
Okay.
the same, like,
It's-
greenish, bluish color.
yeah.
But yeah, so Preston exclaims that it's happening, to which we see furniture and all the dinnerware fly around and shatter across the room, and everybody's hiding underneath tables. And Preston shouts that they are his possessions and that they should obey him as a plate flies at him. And then he decides to hide under the table again. You find out that the party's in just 24 hours and that they need someone to help them sort this nonsense. To which Priscilla was reading a newspaper, and he lays it down, and you see that it's an article showing a picture of Dipper saving the two cops from a giant vampire bat. So they say that they're going to go and hire him, to which we see Dipper, post theme song, sitting down watching TV, excited to watch a whole marathon about ghosts. And then the girls run in, as in Grenda, Candy, and Mabel, and steal the TV from Dipper and say that it's starting. And Dipper's like, what? And it's Toby Determined sitting there saying that he's got breaking news and that he is looks awful. He's like got torn
That's not
clothes.
the breaking news.
Yeah, he's that's just normal for him, poor guy. But yeah, he's got like mud on him, flies flying around him, his clothes are tattered, and he's filthy. And he exclaims that tonight's the night, and he's been out there for days waiting to catch a glimpse at all the rich people that are going to be attending the Northwest family's annual high society shindig ball soiree. And the girls exclaim, like, they go, ooh, ah, and Dipper's like, why do people care? And Grenda says it's the best party of all time because it's got rich food and richer boys. And Mabel says that they say each gift basket has a live quail inside. And Candy is looking at the TV with Northwest wearing like a Miss Gravity Falls like pageantry thing and is all dolled up, says that she wants Pacifica's life. And Dipper's like, Pacifica is the worst, and I'd gladly tell that to her face. To which the door knocks, and he opens it, and he sees Pacifica trying to hide herself. Like, she has, like, her hair wrapped up in, like, a trench coat and sunglasses, and says that she needs Dipper's help, and Dipper immediately goes, you're the worst, and slams the door in her face.
Made me laugh so much. He's, as I believe... Well, I don't know if they're still kids, but in my head, as the kids say, you're the worst. Or no chill.
No
It's
chill.
Like, no chill. I don't know what other kids say.
I don't know either. But yeah, Dipper says, see? And like to prove his point. And then there's another knock, so he opens it again. And Pacifica's like, you think it's easy for me to come down here? I don't want to be here. I don't want anyone to see me here. And he goes, so, like, what is this? And she's like, I need help at the manor. And he's like, and why should I trust you? All you've ever done is try and make us look bad. I think people are already shooting fireworks somewhere in the neighborhood.
I can hear it. It's fine.
It's so close to me, though. It's concerning. Usually I hear them, but it sounds like it's a couple parking lots away or something like that.
It's actually your bunnies. They're just like, they came together.
They found a way to shoot fireworks.
Yeah. It's instead of like gunpowder, they're using hay and bunny feed.
But yes, so Pacifica's like, just name your price. We really need your help. We need anything. Mabel sees an opportunity, pulls Dipper aside, and is like, look, maybe if you help her, we can get invited to the best party of all time. And Dipper's like, but it's Pacifica. Like, what are you talking about? And Mabel says it's Candy and Grenda's dream. And you see them behind saying, dream. So then Dipper goes, all right, I'll figure out how to deal with your ghost if you give us 3 tickets to the party. And she says that she's lucky, or that they're lucky that she's desperate. And she pulls out like golden envelopes and hands them over to Dipper. Mabel grabs them and runs and says, "Get the glue gun, we're making dresses."
But there's the best part when they're in the background. Desperate! Desperate! Desperate!
But yes, so then we end up outside of the manor, and a limo drives through the crowd as a butler pulls a lever to open the main gates to let everybody through. And once they open the doors of the house, you see Dipper, Mabel, Pacifica, Candy, and Grenda enter. And Pacifica says, "Welcome to Northwest Manor, dorks, try not to touch anything." And the girls are all oohing and awing in wonder. But also, isn't Pacifica wearing a purple dress now instead of a green dress? On the theme of the colors?
I think so.
And her mom is still wearing the seafoam green. But anyway.
I can double check. I was
If
just...
you can find screenshots.
There we go. Okay, I was very confused because I'm like... when does the theme song happen? Because I scrolled past it. But like, I think this is the first time where the theme song is shortened.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, it cuts out a couple scenes. Like, I think it's like a third of the size, which they do. I think we start to see more of that after this episode, where it's like some episodes have the full one, some of them have a shorter one. I don't know. I have a feeling like the guy at work who his daughters watched it. Like, there was a reason behind it, but I don't know why. But, yeah, she has a purple dress. I can see her wearing a purple dress right there.
Okay. But yeah, so Mabel is looking at all the fancy things and pointing them out. My favorite is that she gasps and she goes, "Fancy man," and proceeds to rub the butler's face. And all he does is go, "Yes, very good, miss." Candy gets her gift bag and lifts it up in the sky and says that it's true, and then a live quail and chicks pop out and kind of wander away, and they go off to enjoy themselves. And Preston says he's hoping that Dipper can help with their little situation, and that he only has an hour to do it because guests are arriving, and Dipper says he'll do his best. And Preston says, "Take our guest to the problem room." And he's not wearing that, is he? Because Dipper shows up in normal wear and is, when he says that, picking at his teeth, looking away from them. So then we see Dipper get changed because Pacifica says she's going to take care of it. And he's wearing a tuxedo. And he's complaining that the collar is too tight. And then when he first walks out, it does look like it's constricting and pushing all of his like neck skin all the way up to his head. So he's fighting with it. And Pacifica says that they are in fact trying to impress everybody in town because of the high standards for the Northwest family. And you kind of look at it zooms out and you see like in the room there's a whole bunch of paintings that kind of come up later, but a lot of these paintings, from what you can see in this room, it's all like Northwest family doing good things to help settle this area. And Dipper's like, I thought it was Dipper points out about lying. Yeah. And he's like playing around with tassels on the paintings, and Pacifica yells at him not to touch things. So we go back to the 3 girls as they're trying to enjoy the party, and Grenda finds the guest book, and they're looking through, pointing out all these people, and they eventually fall upon, and they go, like, check out this hottie. Marius von Funshauser is a baron from Austria, and Mabel immediately is like, I want him in my guest basket, and Grenda says, like, I think these boys are actually out of our league this time. I can't believe I'm saying this. And Candy agrees, saying that going after him will destroy the group. And Mabel points out that there are a ton of cute boys coming, and let's swear a truce not to waste any time on Marius. And they all make their deal, to which we find out it doesn't last very long, but they're trying. So then Dipper
Did they?
Dipper ends up opening up the creaky door, still with Pacifica, and they end up upon the problem room, and you see a bunch of stuffed animal heads across the walls, creepy paintings, a fireplace, lots of dark wooden furniture, and it's only lit by the fireplace. And Pacifica's like, this is mainly where it's happening. And Dipper's like, yeah, this room is totally haunted. Like, yeah, I can figure this out. And he picks up his journal to show off that there's 10 different categories of ghosts. There's category 10, where it says, like, danger. And then there's category 1, which is, like, looks like a Casper the Friendly Ghost type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then Pacifica was like, okay, so you're going to bore him back into the afterlife by, like, showing off this book. And Dipper is already going off, following the instructions of the book. So he's splashing stuff with anointed water, and points out that the ghost should probably be out of her fake blonde hair. And Pacifica's like, what did you say? And Dipper is like, shh, I have the EMF reader out. I'm picking something up. So he starts walking around the room, and he stops upon a painting of a lumberjack up on the wall. And when he looks up at it, it's kind of like got glowing eyes and is a little off-putting. He looks down because the EMF device he's using starts to freak out. And then when he smacks it and looks back up, and the lumberjack that was in it has disappeared. And Dipper starts to check on Pacifica, to which there's, like, blood dripping from above her. Landing next to her, and she looks up, and there's a whole bunch of blood coming out of the mouths of the stuffed animal heads on the walls.
Did you say there was mounted animal heads in there?
Yeah.
I missed that. I think I was reading the transcript, but yeah, it is a Roomba.
Yeah, I said it when they enter the room, and Dipper's like, yeah, this is totally haunted.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the Ace Ventura line. It's from the second movie where he goes in, and it's a very similar style room, and he's like, I'm in the Hall of Death. Or something along the lines of that. That's another fun movie. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
Oh, good. But yeah, so then they leap back to see that there's a whole bunch of blood coming out of all the animal heads out of the walls. And then as they're leaping back, the fireplace bursts with a whole bunch of fire, and they're freaking out. Then all the animal heads...
Ancient sins.
And everything starts to fly around the room, and then the chandelier's making awful noises, and Pacifica's like, what is happening, as they're hiding away from everything. And Dipper pulls out his book, and he says, it's a category 10. And the anointed water that Dipper was using, because he thought it would be like an easy peasy ghost, breaks, and they scream and freak out. And they start a new chant. If you got this one, Payne.
Yeah, as the deer animal head falls and, like, looks at them. Ancient blood and blackened skies, the forest dark shall once more rise.
Yeah, so Dipper's being shaken by Pacifica, and she's freaking out. What do we do? And he's like, it can't get any worse than this. To which the fire picks up again, and
famous last words.
Yes, and a being begins to kind of form outside of the fire. It starts off as like a giant black skeleton crawling out of the fire, and kind of like Hellraiser, where it starts as bones and begins to like get flesh. It becomes to form into a body, and it's an enormous lumberjack, like in the painting, and he has a beard made of fire and an axe in his head. And then he starts exclaiming, saying he can smell a northwest. And he starts dragging the axe along the floor and doing the come out, wherever you are. So Pacifica's like, get through your dumb book already. Figure this out. He's like, okay, it's not dumb, okay? And I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to save our lives. And he pulls up the page for the category 10, and it looks blank for the advice. And he hovers the black light over it because it's hidden text. And it just says, pray for mercy as the only advice for it. He's like, oh, seriously?
Yeah, it reminded me of, I'm just remembering all the other movies that, like, little things remind me of. Like, that whole room reminded me of Evil Dead 2, I think, specifically when he's kind of going crazy.
And the deer heads are laughing at him.
Yeah, and he's just laughing. And then, this one, when he looked at the book, it reminded me, it's the claymation movie, Chicken Run. When they're getting ready to fly in the airplane they make, and it's like, if the airplane begins to shake, put your head between your knees, and this other character's like, kiss your bum goodbye.
But yeah, so the table that they are hiding under while they're trying to figure out what to do floats up, and the ghost sees them and they scream, and the ghost exclaims that they shouldn't have come here. So Pacifica starts to drag Dipper away so they can run away from the ghost pursuing them. And then on the other end of the mansion, you have Preston, who's welcoming all his guests. He has dukes and duchesses, sultans and sportsmen, and my favorites, the reclusive 102-year-old mayor of Gravity Falls, Mayor Bifufflefumter, to which a bunch of vultures fly in and start circling over his head. And he says, "It's okay. They're with me."
They're with me.
So then Preston explains that they're going to have the finest taste and only the snootiest of laughter, where we have a snooty rich guy with, like, the swishiest hair out of all the characters in the show, doing the snootiest laughter I've ever heard. And Preston's like, "That's the ticket." Then we have Candy. We see her hanging out at the food, and she's at the fondue fountains. She has her one stick, and she's like, "Cheese, chocolates, cheese, chocolate." And Mabel comes in to save the day and says, "You're in a sweet savory loop. Put the fondue fork down." She's like, "I want to, but I can't." And the butler distracts them by introducing Baron Marius von Funzhauser. And he enters dramatically and says, "Guten Tag." And Mabel shouts, "Guten, take me now," and starts to dash at him. But she's being held back by Grenda and Candy, where Grenda's like, "We had a truce." And Candy's like, "Yeah, Grenda, can you go get us some fancy napkins?" To which Candy and Mabel essentially make an agreement to work that they will try and go for it and try and do it not around Grenda, because they find that Grenda is a little bit comes on a little bit too strong.
Mm-hmm.
And they look on the dance floor, and Grenda points at a guy and goes, "What's on your shirt?" And then smacks his nose with her finger. "Haha, gullible loser." And Mabel and Candy are just like, yeah, I agree. So then while the two of them are making their own secret truce, and we have Pacifica and Dipper running through the garden, so which Pacifica says, "Watch out for the peacocks," and one just
Hello.
gets hit by one immediately. But they get muddy shoes from running around in the gardens, and they run into the house. And Dipper is still going through the journal. He says that a haunted painting can only be trapped in a silver mirror, and points ahead and goes, "There's a silver mirror right there." And it's like in a very pristine looking white room, and there's a very large mirror in the wall, and Pacifica prevents him from entering, saying that this is her parents' favorite carpet pattern and they can't track mud in there. And Dipper is like giving her a hard time, saying like, "Why are you so scared of your parents?" And Pacifica's like, "Look, like, you don't get it. It's not gonna happen. We can't do this." So then they're kind of fighting, and Pacifica pulls on Dipper's journal in such a way that it causes them both to trip and fall through the painting of a skeleton in a crown and robe. And they end up in this dark, cobwebbed room.
They just have a regular painting of a Dark Souls boss just chilling.
Chilling in the hallway with no wall behind it. Very good hidden room, I guess.
Your fate is sealed.
And Dipper's like, "What is this place?" As they kind of have gotten away from the ghost for a little bit. Pacifica's not familiar with what the room is, and Dipper says he hopes the ghost isn't either. But as soon as they kind of like think that they're safe, Pacifica's standing in front of something covered in a sheet, and the sheet begins to shape and come alive in the shape of the lumberjack and reaches down like with mouth open looking to swallow her up. So Dipper runs off, pushes her out of the way to save her. And like you said, the "your fate is sealed" is what the ghost shouts as they're getting pursued again. So Dipper finds like a little hand mirror, and Pacifica, in trying to run away, trips over a floorboard, and the ghost is approaching her and raises an axe to slash her. But Dipper jumps in front of her, holding the mirror, and you see them kind of get knocked out into, it's like a curtain, right? Like the red cloth that they get pushed out onto. But they're like rolling outside and fall down a hill out of the building. Yeah, I just remember it's a red cloth, and I couldn't remember if it was a curtain or just a random cloth in the room. But Pacific...
I think it was a curtain. I'm trying to... My brain, like... I was reading, and then my brain just went, like... I don't know what my brain did, but I was listening, and then I heard red curtain, and I'm like... Yes.
I concur.
I don't know where I am in the transcript anymore.
That's fine. But yeah, Pacifica is asking Dipper, did you get him? Did you catch him? And they look into the mirror, and inside you see the ghost, and he starts pounding on the mirror saying, no, free me. And Dipper and Pacifica cheer about how they did it. And she hugs Dipper and realizes what she's doing, and she backs off awkwardly, clearing her throat, and does rich people things like holding out $1. Here, take it. Can I pay you to pretend none of that ever happened? So back inside, you see that Preston is congratulating Pacifica for finding the right man for the job, and he does not shake Dipper's hand. Instead, the butler is being told to shake Dipper's hand for him. And Priscilla says, we can't thank you enough. And after some more handshaking with the butler, she goes, okay, that's enough. So Dipper is like, you know what, just holding up my end of the deal. And he goes to leave. And Pacifica seems upset that he's going and is trying to convince him to stay for the world's best party. And Dipper says he'd love to, but he has a Category 10 ghost to dispose of. And
walks into the wall.
Yeah, awkwardly and chuckling, and then tries to look cool leaving anyway. So Dipper has a realization. He's like, maybe she's not as bad as I thought she was this whole time. And then the ghost begins to plant the seeds of doubt and starts to laugh from inside the mirror. And Dipper's like, what's so funny? I defeated you. And the ghost says, you've been had, boy. You remind me of me 150 years ago. And Dipper's like, what do you mean? So they begin the flashback to tell you how the Northwest Manor was built in the first place. The Northwest had asked the lumber folk of the area to build a mansion atop the hill, and that it would be a service to the town, and that the grand party would involve everybody in the town once a year. So they went through years of backbreaking labor and sacrifice, and during the montage, they're kind of playing out the beginning, but when they say it takes years of backbreaking labor and sacrifice, you see like more and more graves end up there as the mansion is getting more and more completed. And then when they go to enjoy the party after the mansion's done, they get laughed at in the face and the gates are shut on them and that they weren't allowed entry. So the lumberjack, who is the ghost currently, is slamming on the walls, saying that they promised. So he explains that since they chopped down all the trees to have enough wood for the manor, they begin to have mudslides. And he gets taken away by the mudslide, and he's trying to hold on for his life at a stump, and he's kind of shouting off at the Northwests, and you see that an axe kind of like stuck in a log slams against something, and the axe starts to fly at the now ghost, and in his final breath, he shouted up to the Northwest, saying, 150 years I'll return from death, and if the gates still close a town, wealthy blood will stain the ground. And he says it's a curse that's been passed down until this day, because it's apparently been written down, and for some reason he knew it was written down from the distance that he was watching the Northwest watching him. And they have a little kind of transition to show that Preston and Pacifica would have read the curse. Then Dipper kind of feels the same way as the lumberjack, saying that he's been taken advantage of when they knew this was going to happen, and that there was an easy way to prevent all of this from happening. So he decides to head back towards the house, and Preston is talking to the mayor, and is offering him a chimp servant. But if he gets near bright lights, he apparently gets grabby. So Dipper starts shouting that they have explaining to do. Pacifica looks excited that he's even there, but then Dipper immediately points to her and says, like, you're a liar. All you had to do was let people into the party and you would have broken the curse for yourselves, but you made me do this dirty work instead. And Preston says, I'm hosting a party for the most powerful people in the world. You think they'd come here if they got to rub elbows with your kind? You know, very anti-poor people of him.
Mm-hmm.
And Dipper goes, my kind? So what? I was right about this whole family all along. You're just as bad as your parents, and you're another link in the world's worst chain. And Pacifica clearly regrets that it's turning out like this, saying that she wishes she could have told them, But then Preston rings his bell, and Pacifica does exactly what her dad wants.
She's been Pavloved.
Yes. Preston tells Dipper to enjoy the party. It's the last time him or any of his kind will come. And Dipper glares and starts to walk away. And the chimp servant that he had offered to the mayor is like, sandwich? And Preston goes, no, not for him. So Dipper finds himself outside the mansion again and is talking to the ghost in the mirror. Or, well, not directly talking to the ghost. He's setting up to get rid of the ghost that's in the mirror.
Yeah, I like his like disappointed Exodus Dominus Spookus Scaterus. Ain't afraid of us, no ghostus. Just like
yeah, and he set up his little area for it, but the ghost asks to talk to him one more time. Say that he to please let him get his vengeance on the Northwests. He clearly hates him as much. They both clearly hate the Northwest in the same kind of way. Dipper goes, you know what? Like, as much as I hate them, my sister's there at the party, and you seem a little unstable. And the ghost is like, very well, boy. Then before you banish my soul, may these tired lumber eyes gaze upon the trees one final time. Dipper's like, sure, and turns the mirror to go towards the forest. Go nuts. And the ghost seems to gain power from looking at the trees, becomes red.
He goes nuts.
Yes, he does go nuts. He begins to kind of, his flames for his beard, which were blue, and he was mainly blue, turn red, and then the mirror starts to get hot red.
That doesn't make sense. Blue's a hotter flame than red.
Yeah, but red is angry. So
should have turned white.
So just blindingly,
like ultra instinct ghost.
So yeah, but it burns Dipper's hand and it shatters to the ground, and the mirror breaks. So then you see the ghost rematerialize now that it's not caught in the mirror, and he shouts, "Yes, vengeance!" And Dipper, being the good brother he is just worried about Mabel's safety. So they run inside, and before the ghost makes it into the manor, you see Mabel and Candy both shooting their shot with Marius. And Mabel throws immediately. She goes, "Hi, I'm Mabel. So Australia, huh? Do you guys eat kangaroo meat over there, or are they like pets?" He's like, "I am from Austria." And Mabel laughs nervously, and Candy is like, "Tag me in. Tag, swap." And Candy's like, "I am Candy. I love your tiny hats you wear on your shoulders." And then Mabel does not tag herself in and just immediately goes, "If you were a boat, do you know what you'd be? A dream boat. That's what kind." And Candy and Mabel start to fight about the rules of being able to get tagged in and all this stuff. And Marius kind of scoots himself away because he's like, this is awkward, rightfully so. To which Grenda appears and says, like, "Why are you doing this without me? And I thought we had a truce." And they admit that they find her flirting style kind of intense. And Grenda goes, "Oh, so you think I shouldn't be myself just because I'm in this stupid mansion? I thought you guys liked my style." And they're like, "Oh, I mean, like, we do, but boys might not." So Grenda goes, "You know what? I guess he wouldn't like this either." So Grenda goes all in. He's like, "Marius." He's like, "Yeah?" He's like, "You've got something on your shirt." And he looks down at his shirt, and she does the whole thing. And Marius shouts, and Mabel and Candy are like, "Oh, no." And all of them walk away in different directions. And Marius is holding his nose and is looking at her with googly eyes. He's like, "Oh, what was that?"
Did he actually have something on his shirt?
I don't recall.
I thought, like... I thought it looked like there was like a yellow stain. I'm gonna just click.
It's possible, and I just missed it.
I'm gonna bring it up.
Also multitasking.
Because, almost there. Let's see. Ghost is free. They're flirting. Is that blended in the background? Oh no, it's just another large man. Okay, I'm right here. They're talking right now, just like, "Yeah, you're intense." Grenda mad. And okay, they're still going back and forth.
Yeah, they argue for a little bit.
There we go. Okay, he doesn't have anything on him. Yeah, he does. Oh my goodness. It's so okay, I'm gonna take 2 screenshots.
Okay.
Let me see. Actually, I wonder if it would mess up if I shared my screen. Anyway. So, I don't know how to... A little bit difficult to see because the... I go full screen? No. I got like the bar in the way. Let's see.
Oh, the Hulu.
Yeah. So let's paint. So this first one. No, it blacks it out.
Oh, Hulu doesn't let you screenshot.
I know.
It probably wouldn't let you share your screen either in that case. Do you have minute marks?
Yeah, so at I'm saying that what's left in the show. Okay, if you go to 6 minutes and 52 seconds left in the episode.
All right, 1 second. I need to get back to the...
Yeah, no problem. Oh, wait, here. Oh, wait, I can see it. 15... We go to 15:11.
Yeah, I just need to get back to the episode because it's auto-playing the next one.
Yeah. Just go to... Yeah, if you go to, like, 15:10, and if you hit play...
15:10.
So, he walks up, nothing on him. Cuts back, there's a stain on him. And then in the next scene, it's
when did
gone.
that happen?
But then if you keep watching, it's gone. It's gone. And then...
Oh, it is gone. His button's there.
Yeah.
And then when he walks away, it's gone.
Yeah.
No wonder I was like, what stain? Because it was there for like 4 frames.
One scene. Yeah, 1 frame.
Silly. Okay. So, good catch. Good eyes.
I want to say... Oh, hold on, I'm watching the end.
If it reappears.
Yeah, I'm watching the end, but we can keep going. I'll let you know if it shows up again.
Okay.
I'll just shout in loudness.
Okay. Yeah, so then we have Preston saying that the party's been a wonderful success. And he wants to toast to the family name, but then glasses begin to shatter, and you hear ghost laughter, and the ghost comes out of the fireplace, and he shouts, "Generations locked away, my revenge shall have its day." And the mayor goes, "Oh, the Grim Reaper, I've been wondering when you'd arrive." Ah! And he gets hit by the beam, and he turns into wood and falls over, and everyone begins running and screaming in every direction, and he starts firing his wood-turning laser ghost powers to everyone he can see. And while he's doing this, all the dead taxidermy animals that were hanging around on the wall or hanging around as statues begin to kind of like hop around and start crawling towards the guests. And Priscilla asks Preston what they're going to do, and he says that they're going to go to the panic room, and a door flies open during all of this, and Dipper, soaking from the rain, as someone tries to reach out for his help, he freaks out and goes, "This is messed up." And the ghost goes, "Just one way to change your fates. A northwest must open the party gates." And Dipper goes, "A northwest? Oh, Pacifica." So he tries to look around for her. And we see that she's hiding in that secret room. And she's like kind of playing around with the flashlight, looking pretty sad about things. And Dipper says, like, explains the situation. And it's funny, he's like, "The ghost is turning everyone to wood," and just started rhyming for some reason, "but I need your help." And she looks very down on it, and she explains that she realizes why this room must have been locked up, and she points the flashlight to the different paintings around, saying that it's a record of paintings of all the horrible things that her family's ever done. So the paintings we saw in the beginning when Dipper got changed of all the good deeds are painted in truth about them like lying and cheating and all this stuff. And she kind of has a moment where she says, like, "I'm just as bad as the rest of my family. I lied to you because I'm too scared to talk back to my parents," and saying that Dipper was right about her all along. And Dipper's like, look, I'm sorry about what I said earlier, but just because you're your parents' daughter doesn't mean you have to be just like them. It's not too late. And the ghost appears, it's too late, shouting around. And Dipper gets Pacifica to run into the main hall, and the ghost is shouting that you are all wood. And they naturally freak out, and you scan across the room. You even see that Candy, Mabel, and Grenda are arguing wooden statues. And Dipper is like, this is too much. So Pacifica tries to call to Dipper to tell him to wait, but Dipper picks up a silver platter, and he goes, all right, ghost, prepare to get. And then the energy beam from the ghost hits the journal, so it falls out of journal Dipper's hand. He drops the platter, and then he shoots it again at Dipper's feet, and Dipper is screaming for help and freezes into wood that way. And then the clock nearby strikes midnight, and the ghost continues saying, a force of death lesson learned, and now the Northwest Manor will burn. And he starts to laugh as the manor gets set to fire, starting with the portrait of the family. And Pacifica says, hey, ugly, over here. You want me to let in the townsfolk? Because I'll just do it. Just change everyone back. And the ghost shouts back, you wish to prove yourself? Pull that lever and open the grand gate to the town. Fulfill your ancestors' promise. To which the emergency hatch opens. Very much like Evil Dead with their little basement thing. And he explains that the town can't see them like this. They have a reputation uphold. And that she needs to come into the panic room with them because they have enough mini sandwiches and oxygen to last Yumi and the butler a full week. And points to the butler. We'll eat the butler. And she looks at Dipper again and pulls for the lever. And he shouts about disobeying, and he begins to ring the bell.
Dingly-lingly. Is this bell broken?
Because she continues to pull down the lever, and she's got an angry face, and he does that. And she goes that our whole family name is broken. She's going to fix it, pulls down the lever. And then as the gates swing open, Tyler out there is like, get it. And they make their way into the manor. And the ghost is happy, says that his heart, once as hard as oak, now grows soft, more like a birch or something. And everything fades back into its normal selves. And the ghost says to Pacifica that she is not like the other Northwests, and that he in fact does feel his lumber justice, and begins to fade into nothing, and the axe that was in his head falls to the floor and sinks into the ground. And they all hear a rumbling noise, and the doors of the manor burst open as all of the normal people of Gravity Falls enter into the party. You have Manly Dan, who jumps into the cider fountain, and marking the entrance of everybody, and Preston is just like, they're everywhere, oh god. And Tyler, the get it guy, picks up a fork and puts it down again, and Preston goes, no, that's not how the fork gets placed. Very much a mirror of the beginning of the episode. And Mabel, Grenda, and Candy start to apologize because they realize what's happened to them, and tell her that they should not have left her behind. And Grenda's like, that's fine. I probably do need to work on my flirting anyway. Let's go dunk our heads in some cheese and chocolate. And she asks if they're all friends again, and they do a group hug. And Marius rolls up and goes, wait, don't go. Grenda, was it? I must speak with you. There is something about you. I can't get you out of my head. You're so bold and confident. I know you're probably out of my league, but might I give you my phone number? And Grenda immediately shouts, I don't have a phone. Write it on my face. To which the girls cheer and then start trying to call being the bridesmaid to their future wedding. And then Dipper and Pacifica are on the other side of the party hall, and Dipper tells Pacifica that if her family hates her for this, then they're idiots because this is a great time. Pacifica says to him to enjoy it while it lasts because next year she's pretty sure they're going to lock everyone out again. And Dipper looks down and says, look at what we're standing on, and it's the favorite carpet pattern. So, and they have mud on their feet, so they just start messing with everything in that room. And then she immediately goes, well, okay, I gotta go find someone to clean this up. And then leaves. And McGucket appears doing woo scobbity doo, hornswaggle McGoat knees. And Dipper talks to McGucket, and McGucket pulls Dipper away and immediately goes into like intelligible speak instead of like babbling. He's like, okay, Dipper, I've been looking for you. I fixed the laptop. I've been doing calculations, and I think something terrible is coming. The apocalypse, the end times. And Dipper, you think, is having like a good moment. He's like, you know what? Can we just enjoy the party for once? We're always worrying about stuff. Let's just do this tomorrow. And McGucket's like, wait. And then McGucket, after Dipper walks away, is like, this is bad, and pulls up the laptop, opens it up, and it says imminent threat, and it has a countdown showing less than 24 hours left until bad things are happening. McGucket's like, oh, this is bad. Something's coming, something big. And I didn't catch this. It says that the camera pans to just above McGucket, where a tapestry depicts a triangle eye with which looks similar to Bill Cipher in the sky above a burning landscape encountering figures. Below the worshippers are skulls and bones lying on the ground. And then we cut to the credits. Yeah, I think I was multitasking a little bit towards the end of the episode.
Yeah, you must have been really multitasking because that's really tough to miss. It's like, it's not even subtle. They like pan to it and it sits on the screen for like a couple seconds.
Yeah, I must have just not been looking at all.
It's all good. And
then I know I definitely look back for this after the credits. You end up in the closet in the manor. And in a very bad accent, you get quick in here, my darling, as these two people pull each other into the room, and the high-pitched voice goes, a moment alone at last. And then they begin to remove their disguises. They're like, okay, you can drop the act. There's activity on the machine. It's go time. And they start to argue about like who has the phone. It's supposed to be in their purse. It's like, I asked you when you were in a car if you had everything. And it ends with Agent Trigger going, why do we always have to fight at parties? And Tambry goes in because it's a coat closet and opens the door and just goes, I'm not going to ask. And closes the door.
Yes. And there's so many things in this episode that are just so good. Yeah, I'll go through character revelations and all that stuff. Like, I already knew about this. Let's see. This is the first time Preston is referred by his name. And this is when we find out Pacifica's middle name is Elise. Not that big of a deal. Okay, so here's something I want to talk about briefly. The Northwest family has a secret history of fraudulent deception besides just the town founder conspiracy. Why did they paint their deception?
I don't know.
I'm like,
such a weird thing.
I'm like, I could understand photos that they gathered and all that. Like, I don't know, maybe it's that thing where it's like it's just hiding it, but it's like, but why keep it except for narrative reasons? Mm-hmm. So
it is a weird choice to go for.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of that stuff I think we kind of already know. As we mentioned, Dipper's now a known source of authority regarding the supernatural and is taken seriously. And Dipper hates fancy parties and events while Mabel, Candy, and Grenda love them. So, scrolling down. Okay, that's interesting. That I wouldn't have put together reading this. It's like, so since the Society of the Blind Eye episode, when they kind of take care of the Blind Eye Society, the citizens are now noticing the paranormal activity as like being and Dipper's activity.
Instead of them going like, Dipper, you need to get over yourself. Now they're like, oh, that's weird stuff. And the only person that seems to have a solution is this little kid.
Mm-hmm. So, man, I think that's kind of, I don't understand. Apparently, Robbie and Tambry continue a relationship, and it's like, it's only been an episode. It's okay. But, let's see. But yeah, overall, everything else we kind of mentioned. Like, the big thing that they keep writing all over the place is the giant vampire bat in the news article is they see mentioned in the journal in the first episode. But Yeah, and then apparently Mabel's still on good terms with Pacifica since the Gulf War, and then this is like definitely Dipper and Pacifica like not starting to not hate each other. Yeah. Now the shortened version of the theme song is debuted in this episode, which we mentioned. This episode was never supposed to be named Northwest Mansion Noir. I don't know. Okay, I'm trying to scan through. And... Oh, okay, that's interesting. So the timer on the laptop shows 21 hours to disaster, referencing the respective number of days between the episode and the next one.
Oh.
So, I guess they had a new episode a month. I don't know. I didn't watch this when it was airing, so.
I don't remember. I would have thought this was only... Or is that so many days until that particular episode? Because I thought this was released weekly.
In the respective number of days between this episode and the next.
Like, does that mean the one that actually...
Let's see. Premiered on March 9th. February 16th. So there was a part. And this is like the mid... It says the 30th of it, also serving as the first part of a 2-part mid-season finale.
Oh, I guess it was 21 days, yeah, because it says February 16th, March 9th. Oh.
Oh.
Before that, they were 2 weeks apart.
Okay. So there
roughly.
I wonder if Disney was doing something.
They had a lot of other stuff going on before these aired.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Apparently it says Lumberjack. I don't know if that was a misspelling.
I feel like that's a typo.
Yeah, the ghost is an ancestor of Wendy's family. And his name is Archibald Corduroy.
That makes sense. They are a lumberjack family.
So, but yeah, so kind of like the big things. So I have to ask, who you most like, since that's what you got highlighted.
Oh, that's not intentional.
It is in my book.
I know who my favorite is, but who am I the most like?
Well, if we want to do favorite, do favorite.
Yeah, I feel like the favorite's pretty easy. We've got the mayor.
Oh yes, the mayor definitely. It's kind of a tie because I like the mayor, but I also really like the lumberjack ghost as well.
He is a very good villain as well.
I'm gonna put the lumberjack ghost because as much as I like the mayor and he just it's the Grim Reaper. I don't know. It feels like besides like Gideon and like the Northwest family as a whole, like these one-off villain like antagonists don't get as much of like airtime. It feels like it's very much like this really felt like there's nothing you as the main characters can do because like it's out of your hands. Like I think probably the other one is the shapeshifter, but the shapeshifter was very contained, while this one was like it's still technically contained. It's just like I don't know. It's very much like it feels like a real like kind of threat that was like you see the beginning and end and just everything around it was just like so intense compared to what Disney normally allows.
Yeah, that's fair. Alright, so then who would I be the most like this episode? We have Dipper, who he feels like he's finally being recognized for what he's able to do and is willing to help people out, and kind of, I guess he's willing to also see that people aren't always what he thought they were. You have
This episode definitely shows a lot of like character growth for him specifically. I feel
then
like,
you
yeah.
then
Sorry.
you have Mabel, Grenda, and Candy that are all kind of, their arc is very small. Like it's predictable, right? It's the,
Yeah.
oh, we're girls, we're fighting over the same boy. Just kidding, we're friends. Why did we ever fight over a boy? Like a very small, like little thing. No Stan, no Seuss, which that just hit me.
Yeah, you took the joke I was gonna make for who I want to be like. That was one of the facts that I was like purposely ignoring. I knew it was there, and I was like, I'm most like Grunkle Stan because he's not even in this episode.
He's not
because,
even bothered by the existence of this party.
Yeah, well, I feel like the ending of the last episode, as he's like, I think it was in that one when he's in the basement. I think he's preoccupied.
Everything's happening. Yes.
Yeah, and Seuss is probably talking to Melody, but no, I was gonna say Grunkle Stan for most like because there's no way I would go to the party.
I think in some ways, I think I'm gonna say I'm the most like Pacifica in terms of when it comes to the family and picking your parents over yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, therapy. Haha, Pacifica. I do not relate to being so absurdly rich or anything like that, but more
That's
so
what they
the
want
fact
you to think. If you guys want to know, like she is the sponsor of this podcast. She keeps everything going, keeps the lights on.
It's okay. You do most of the work. I'm a voice.
I'm the mayor, not the mayor. The butler.
The vultures.
The vultures.
So you can be Grunkle Stan.
No. I legitimately thinking about it. I would probably be Dipper because mainly due to the fact of like he definitely doesn't want to go to this party, and like he wouldn't go, but the fact that he's like, okay, there's
It's
some
for Mabel.
for Mabel, but then also like, which I would do, like I would go like, oh, okay, like if my friends want me to go, sure, whatever, I would go. But the big thing where he's just like, okay, there's something I can do. Like I'm not just attending the party, I'm like helping.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I would go to a party or something like that if I was helping set it up or whatever. If it's like, no, you gotta go and just have fun, I'm like, this is more stressful than anything
This is not
else.
me.
I'm like, I don't know what this weirdo wants. So yeah, I would say Dipper. Because I could also see myself being the stereotypical stupid person that's just like, cool paranormal stupidity, let's go. Not really knowing what to do with that information. But yeah. So thank you everybody for listening so far. We hope that you do stuff that helps you enjoy your day. As I try to remember, I just saw hand witch and then I'm just remembering the hand witch. Yeah, if you made it this far, sweet. If you can go, if you have the time, give one of those review things, like the 5 stars, because that helps naturally send the podcast out to other people. Or if you're watching it on YouTube, you can give one of those little like things. And I think there's other stuff you can do, like you can do your normal YouTube stuff. Yeah, I heard it everywhere. You can do it. We believe you. If not, we'll still believe in you. We just don't know who you are. So take that as you will. So anyway, yeah, we'll be back next time and with more stuff, specifically episode 31, and probably a section where me to ramble before we hit record. Any poops, see you later. Peace. Bye. I misclicked it.